Hi everyone, Russell here again. So today I installed the SUPERATV 1/2-inch skid plate. And the reason I did that is because I was about 1/2 of an inch away from busting a hole in my transfer case. And as you can see, this thickness is not adequate to properly protect your engine. So if something comes through that ultra thin skid plate, punctures a hole into your engine, I mean, it could potentially ruin your engine and transmission since it shares the same oil. In this case, it almost hit my transfer case. So SUPERATV has a really good install video. They actually tip it over on the side, so I'll put that link in the description. But I did do a few things differently. And so you can see, I just put the ramps on one side so I can get underneath it. Another little trick before you put it on the ramps, if you jack up the front tires off the ground and set it back down, and then jack the rear tires up and set it back down, that typically gives you 3 or 4 more inches of ground clearance because the suspension hasn't settled yet. And then one other thing I didn't really like about the skid plate is they give you 12 self-tapping screws. So the part that's kind of annoying about this is the self-tappers, you need a 3/8 socket for it. And then the M6 bolts they supply is a 10 millimeter. So it's just kind of a nuisance when you go to take it off. You know, you're gonna have to go under there with a 3/8 and a 10 millimeter. So one option for you is to just drill some holes and run a tap into it and thread it. So that's something to keep in mind. The other thing that I highly recommend is leave everything loose until you get all 4 pieces, well, the 3 bigger pieces up. Because in the video, they show you to put one section up and then run the self-tappers in. I do not recommend that because then you can align everything up later. So I put everything, the 3 bigger pieces in, left it loose, and then aligned it and adjusted it, tighten down the bolts, and then once I had everything perfectly lined up, then you can drill the holes if you want to thread your frame or to put the self-tappers in. So that's one thing I would definitely consider doing that the video did not tell you to do. All right, so I'm just going to show you the difference. We have the factory skid plate right here. And first, I was about an inch away from busting out the bottom of the transfer case. So that would have been terrible because I was in the middle of nowhere. So right here, you can see the thickness of the factory skid plate. And then here's the SUPERATV, which is 1/2 an inch. So this is going to make a huge difference in protection. So this kit does come in 4 separate pieces, and your factory skid plate is only 2, so that's a little bit different. Here's the 4th piece. Okay, the items, the hardware that comes with this kit, you'll see just a bunch of these washers. And then here's some of the bolt spacers, self-tappers that come in the kit. And this is what it looks like from the back looking forward, so you can see just how thick that is right there. So here's kind of a front view. You can see the 1/2 inch thick. And so we're looking from the front to the rear.